All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Bless the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His Son. And all praises be to the God of heaven and earth, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel, Barakim La, Habayath, Madabada. Blessings to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring, and to the Akim Wa Akwath, brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached throughout the four corners of the earth. Unto you I say Shalom. And Shalom once again in Barakatham, Tham Yad Wa Lakwatazah, and unto the end. Blessings unto you believing brothers and sisters. This is the brother Sakalah back with a lesson all through the Spirit. I pray that this lesson is edifying, exhorting, and comforting, which is Philippians 4:7, the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is this truth. So I'm going to jump right into it and get a few precepts, but read out of this article first, which this is the premise of the lesson. And it goes into here, as you see, the undocumented Haitians detained by immigration officials in the Dominican Republic. So this touches on how in the Dominican Republic, right, in Haiti, which these two landmasses border each other on the island of Hispaniola, you have the Dominicans running the Haitians out of the Dominican Republic, and they're rounding them up by great numbers. And this is just a classic example of the tribes not, knowing who they are and ultimately having an evil eye toward their brothers because they don't see each other as brothers. As we know, the northern and southern kingdom split. But here in the Americas, right, the scriptures, prophesy of how all the 12 tribes would come back together. And we'll touch on all that through the Spirit. Now, the title here of the article, it says the Dominican Republic's expulsion of thousands of Haitians shows the brutality of mass deportations, because there's a lot of hate and disdain that the Dominicans have for the Haitians, which is the tribe of Levi and the tribe of Simeon. Now, this is dated January the 7th, 2025. It says the United States President-elect Donald Trump has threatened mass deportations of undocumented migrants once his second term begins. So he's telling Mexico and all of the nations down in South or Central America predominantly that they're going to have to close off their borders and stop allowing migrants to come up to America's border, because under, Sleepy Joe Biden, under his presidency, they've allowed, a mass influx of immigrants, which are all the Northern Kingdom predominantly coming up into America. So they're about to shut off the borders and not allow for the free flow of, that migrant mass of people, which there's been millions that have come up, so-called illegally, as they say. Continuing on, as he prepares to fulfill his campaign promise, it's important to understand how these types of mass deportations are carried out. The Dominican Republic offers a cautionary tale. And why is this a cautionary tale? Let's keep reading. It says, since the beginning of October 2024, Dominican President Luis Abinader Corona has committed to deporting 10,000 Haitians a week, right? The Organization of International Migration registered 27,000 Haitians had been deported from the Dominican Republic by the end of October, reaching 40,000 by November 18th. Haitians represent the largest migrant community in the Dominican Republic because Haiti and the Dominican Republic share the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. According to the latest Dominican National Survey of Immigration conducted in 2017, 497,825 Haitian migrants live in the Dominican Republic, representing 4.9% of the total population. Assuming that these numbers haven't changed drastically, 40,000 deportations amount to a significant proportion of the Haitian population in the Dominican Republic. So this is a lot of Levites, right, or Haitians that's being deported. The deportations. During my research visit of July 2024, it was clear that the Dominican Army, police, and migration officers had been given deportation targets long before the president's October announcement. I spoke to people who said migration raids, it says, became more violent, and it says, and arbitrary when the deadline approached and targets had not been met. In border areas, I was told about deported Haitians who were extorted by army officers and others they had paid to be smuggled back into the DR or Dominican Republic, only to be deported once again. In addition to extortion, migrants were also subjected to violence in their attempts, it says, to return to the Dominican Republic. The pressure to meet the president's targets is propelling the current wave of deportations without regard to either domestic or international law. So these deportations are getting very violent, right? Now, ultimately, and you see a picture here of Haitians. Ultimately, this is all due to the curses that's on the tribes, because these two tribes within the 12 tribes of Israel are linked together prophetically, and we see that they have an evil eye toward one another, right? So it goes on to speak about how it's basically a humanitarian issue that's not really being dealt with properly or civilly or according to the law. Now, I got what I wanted out of there. Let's go here. Let's go to the book of Genesis and get a few precepts. 49, because this is all prophetic. And this is, it all shows forth that these two tribes will be linked together, right, very heavily here in the last days. And we will be able to identify that through the spirit of the Most High God, Yahweh and the Son, Yahweh Shai, through the Holy Spirit, the B'Kakodash, through anthropology, through history, and all that ties with the scriptures. Genesis 49, starting at verse 1. And this says, Israel's prophecy concerning his sons, Jacob's last words to his sons. And this is Jacob prophesying or speaking before what was going to happen in the last days concerning all of the 12 tribes that will be here in the Americas. And we'll show that through the Spirit. Genesis 49 and 1. And Jacob, Yaquab, called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. He said, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen prophetically to you in the last days. Verse 2, gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel, your father. And I'm going to go down speaking directly, because it talks about all the tribes, but directly to Simeon and Levi, right, who are linked today, who we see the evil eyes toward one another, the disdain between the two of them, which is really, that disdain between the northern and southern kingdom, which is amongst all the tribes today. Genesis 49 and 5, Simeon and Levi are brethren. So these would be brothers. They will be linked together here in the last days. And they're linked together on the island of Hispaniola. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. So on the island of Hispaniola, whether you're on the side that is Haiti or the side that is Dominican Republic, there's a lot of voodoo that goes on. And the Haitians are known very heavily for being involved with witchcraft. But the Dominicans are heavily into that as well, right? So this is showing that here in these last days, these two tribes will be linked together. They will be linked together. Now, one of the ways we know that, let's go to the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter, right? We're going to go to Revelation 7, and we'll go to the point. When you read from the top, it talks about the destruction, and it talks about how 12,000 will be sealed out of each tribe. Revelation 7 and 4, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So it goes 12,000 out of each tribe, as we know. And we read from verse 5 on down, right? So now, when we get down to verse 9, it says a multitude from the tribulation. The tribulation is the time of Jacob's trouble. So there's going to be an unnumbered multitude, which is known as the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the elect, that's going to actually be preserved, right? Pertaining to prophecy. Revelation 7 and 9, and after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues. And when you go into the nations, kindreds, people, and tongues, it goes into those that would be of the 12 patriarchs of Jacob when you look it up here in the blue letter, right? It's not speaking of all people. Now, this is, prophetic, because here in America, you would have a conglomerate of peoples and nations, as it says also when you read it like Revelation, the 11th chapter, and other precepts. And I'll bring some of those precepts, right? Now, this is prophetic as well. And after this, I beheld, and lo, and look, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, which is our Lord Yahushua, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So the gathering of the elect is starting now. It's taking place now. We're returning to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His Son Yahushua, right? And worshiping Him in the spirit and in truth. But this gathering of the unnumbered multitude is going to be the elect, which this America, Babylon the Great, right, is a great example of that, also known as the sign of the prophet Jonas. Because Yahushua said this wicked, generation and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, but none is going to be given but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And what is that sign? That's the sign of the men of the Lord today that's waking up. That's really the sign the Most High is given, right, for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. Now, let's continue on. Let's go and show that this is prophetic, right? And this is not speaking only of America, but predominantly you will see this sign here in America, which is Ezekiel 37, the valley of the dry bones, right? The valley of the dry bones. Now, let's read this, showing that Revelation 7 and 9, which is making reference to Israelites, shows that here in the Western Hemisphere is one of the main ways you would know what Jacob was saying to his sons, which Levi and Simeon are two of his sons that will be linked together that we read the article about. Jeremiah 29 and 13, and ye shall seek me and find me. This would be the believers. When ye shall have searched, it says, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So that's what the believers, they're wholehearted, right? They're putting their whole heart into the Most High. That's because He's put the Spirit, Ephesians 2 and 8, for the believers in the last day to actually return. So that's really a gift from the Most High. Verse 14, and I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, meaning He would take us out of captivity. And I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you. So this is not limited to only America, but the bulk of the tribes, right, prophetically would be here in the Americas, starting here in North, South, and Central America. Continuing on. And from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again unto the place, it says, whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Ultimately, we're going to go back into our homeland, which is the land of Israel. Verse 15, because ye have said, the Lord Yahweh hath raised us up prophets in Babylon. And that links once again with Revelation 7 and 9. So the majority, right, of the elect would be here in Babylon, starting with the prophets. So here in Babylon is that greatest sign, the sign of the prophet Jonas. But we also have brothers and sisters that's scattered throughout the four corners. But the greatest part of that sign is here in America, which that's prophecy. And so that's one of the ways we know, and we can actually identify, the tribes when you go down, from America, which you have Judah, Benjamin, Levi here. And then as you go down, you have also Gad and Reuben, right? Predominantly is in North America. And then from there, all the rest of the tribes in the particular nations. So now let's show that. This is the book of Jeremiah. Since we was there, let's just go over to Jeremiah 50 and 33. This comes to mind. Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel, Yasha'Allah, and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And where were the children of Israel and the children of Judah oppressed together? Here in America. Here in America. Continuing on, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, meaning the children of Israel are still in captivity underneath Esau right here in the last days, right? They refused to let the children of Israel go, it says. Now, let's show this, because this also touches on it as well. This is the book of Nahum, Just want to get a few precepts to support that. This is going into Nineveh's complete ruin. Now, Nineveh is in ancient Babylon, which is northern Iraq. I've actually been in that city on a few occasions. As a matter of fact, I was stationed there in 2005 to 2006. I was there for a year, and you can actually see the old ruins of ancient Nineveh, parts of it anyway, because back in like 612 BCE or BC, you did have the fall and the Medes, the Persians and the Medes came in and overthrew that place. But there's still actually remnants going back to ancient Babylon, which was before it, which this is making reference to Babylon to come, right? In the spirit. It says, woe to the bloody cities. This is making reference to ancient Nineveh, but America, Babylon the Great, can be tied to this bloody city. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery, for the prey departed not. The same thing we just read, right? The latter half of Jeremiah 50, right, and 33. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Speaking of the children of Israel, which will be oppressed here in the last days. Woe to the bloody city, which can be likened unto Babylon. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. So the children of Israel are still in captivity underneath, right, the modern day Babylonians, the modern day Egyptians, which is the Edomites. This is the book of Nahum, going down to the point 3 and verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, another name, right, that's likened unto Babylon, likened unto America, the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. And that lines up with Isaiah 47, that chapter where it speaks all about Babylon here in the last days, how Babylon will be exposed on a global scale. And it ties here to Nahum as well, because it's a precept. Nahum 3 and 5, behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. It says, I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock, which also lines up with Revelation, the 17th and 18th chapter, right, when Babylon is destroyed. It says the same thing, that all the nations would look upon the destruction of Babylon, right, and would mourn. And the main reason why is because this is showing that Babylon, the great America, is, the mistress of witchcrafts, the mother of harlots. All that's speaking about America, where all the 12 tribes will be oppressed. America, right, North America, which you have really all the tribes here now, but on down to the Americas. So it will be here that we will be all oppressed together, because we know that the northern kingdom were conquered first by the conquistadors before Judah, Benjamin, Levi were brought here to serve captivity together. So that's just part of the proof of that. Now, let me go to Malachi 2. So let's go to Malachi 2, because the priests, which the Dominicans and the Haitians together, the Haitians being the priests, this is prophecy against the priests, because the Most High held the priests in high regard as his, that was a direct line between the Most High, and man and his nation. The priests were the ones that did the service and office of duty to the Most High directly, right? They were given that charge, but they dropped the ball. They dropped they fumbled the pack. So that actually is open to all the nations, as the scriptures say, that we will be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. So that's not just relegated to the tribe of Levi anymore, but this is a punishment for all the wickedness of the tribe of Levi, and also his brother, who's joined unto him still today, the Dominicans. Now let's show that. Malachi 2 and 1, and now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If ye will not hearken, and if ye will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith Yahweh of hosts. It says, I will even send a curse upon you. So the Levites, amongst all the tribes, right, the Levites have it the worst. Levi, or Haiti, which is the reason why you have so many Haitians fleeing into the Dominican Republic, is because they are the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. Right? In the Western world, Haiti is the poorest nation. Continuing on, I will even send a curse upon you. So that's a curse upon the Levites, right? It says, and I will and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye did not lay it to heart. And on the island of Haiti, right, which was a very prosperous land going back into the 1700s, 1800s, when they got their independence, right, from the French. Ultimately, that island was left, out of trade, and it didn't grow. It ultimately faltered and failed. Right, so that's the end result of what we see today of the island of Haiti, because these Edomites ultimately got together, against what happened during the Haitian Revolution. They basically turned against Haiti. They turned against the Levites, right? Continuing on, so that's the Most High said, I've cursed them already. So what was a blessing, right, and a very prosperous land, which is the island of Haiti, it turned the other way. And this was ultimately prophecy from the Most High. This was prophetic, right? So continuing on, Malachi 2:3, behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts. So for all the voodoo and all the wickedness that's been done, you see that Haiti, or the Levites being the priests, they've gotten it the worst out of the tribes now, right? That's turned back upon Haiti. So that dung upon their face is the fact that they will be ashamed. They will be very low. It says, and your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. So this came directly, right, to the Levites. This chapter is dedicated to what happens when you turn from serving your power, right, and turn away from your office, and turn away from righteousness and holiness. Directly to the tribe of Levi, verse 5, my covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me and was afraid before my name. So at one time, when you read throughout the scriptures, the Levites were scattered amongst the tribes, and they actually, right, were fulfilling their office and duties, going all the way back to Aaron and Moses, so on and so forth. Verse 6, the law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, it says, and did turn away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they shall seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord Yahweh of hosts. So now that's open unto all the tribes, right? When you go into the book of Exodus, the 19th chapter. Verse 8, but ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Verse 9, therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people. So that's why Haiti is so low, right? It's a curse directly from the Most High unto the Haitians. According as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law, meaning they don't fulfill, right, their lot anymore as being the priests of the Most High, right, the holy men of Yahweh. Verse 10, have we not all one Father? Have not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers? And us, the covenant being profaned, goes down to all the rest of the tribes as well, right? So it says, why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother? Why are the tribes totally against each other? Why are the Dominicans, why do they have such hate and disdain for Haiti? They don't even know that they're actually brothers, and they're joined together in the last days, except for those that are returning to this truth. But by and large, they don't know that. So why do they deal treacherously? Why do they have such hate between, each other? Let's show that in the book of Deuteronomy, in the curses. It's Deuteronomy 28. We'll get a few more and close it out. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. These are the consequences of disobedience, curses for disobedience. Deuteronomy 28:15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And the Lord's telling the children of Israel that this is what would happen to them. As we read in Genesis 49, Jacob speaking about what will be going on and what will befall the tribes in the last days. So let's go down to the point. It should be here in the 50s. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54. Speaking of the curses, right, that we just read in Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of the children which he shall leave. So the part of the curses amongst the tribes is that they will have an evil eye toward their brothers. That's why you have the Crips and the Bloods, and you have MS-13, the Latin Kings, the cartels. All of them are actually killing and devouring their own people, their own brothers, right? So that's part of the curses that will be on the Most High's people. Here in the Americas, you will see that very heavily. Reading it again, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. And that's the point. There will be an evil eye towards our brethren, right? And you see that even with amongst so-called black people or even the Latinos, right? There's a disdain and hatred there between the northern and southern kingdom. You see that even amongst, once again, the example of Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You see the same thing. Now, just to put that into perspective even more, let's show this. This is the book of Amos. Most High said this. I want to get this real quick. This is the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, right? Because the tribes will be coming together here in the last days. But you also would have the Most High letting it be known that the nation of Israel as a whole, that he would see all the things they're doing and he's going to destroy the wicked among our people. Amos 9 and 8, behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, it says, are upon the sinful kingdom, which this is twofold. You know, it could be likened unto Babylon, but the Most High's people, first and foremost, are a sinful kingdom, a sinful nation. Let's show that. This is Isaiah 1 and verse 4. It says, ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. So it's speaking about the children of Israel, right? Verse 6, from the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruised and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. So our people have, incurable diseases, in the spirit that can only be healed through Yahweh Shai. So if Yahweh Shai wasn't to come, then our nation would only be getting more and more corrupted, more and more wicked. Amos 9 and verse 8 again, behold, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, speaking of his people, first and foremost, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh. So he's not going to completely destroy all, right, of the children of Israel, because he's going to leave a remnant according to grace, the scriptures say, right? Verse 9, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel, Yasha'Allah, among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Verse 10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Because the mindset that most Israelites have is that what them hearing the words of truth, they don't truly believe is going to happen. They believe that they can continue on in their way, and they were doubling down on that because they're not returning and hearkening to the words of truth. Now, let's go here real quick and let's end it out. It should be Amos 8. Let me see if this is it. Amos 8 and No, let's go back to Amos 9. Yeah, Salakia. Amos 9 and 11. And at that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David, Dawadah, which is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the Most High is repairing or rebuilding through the Spirit the house of David, right? Which he intends to preserve, which he intends to give salvation to. That's the remnant. So that's ultimately what's going on today through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is that the remnant is returning. So I pray that this lesson is edifying, was edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto you believing brothers and sisters, which is Philippians 4:7, the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is this truth. I want to give all praises, infinite honor, and glory unto our God, our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahabashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel, Barakim La Habayath Madabadah. Blessings to the house of David, which are you brothers laboring, and to the Akim Wa Akwath, brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached throughout the four corners of the earth. Unto you I say Shalom, Shalom Wa Barakatham, peace and blessings unto you.